Okay, class, this is for Prealgebra Period 1 and Period 3, and it is Thursday, and we're going to talk about multiplying rational numbers. So let's get your title in your math binder in the notes section. Okay, if we take 3 and we multiply it by 1/4, it's 3 times 1/4. What we have here is repeated addition. Please write this. We have 1/4 3 times, and it's adding. That's what multiplying is. It's repeated addition. So when you add fractions, you have to have a common denominator, and you just add your numerator. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. Okay? So when we multiply, it is repeated addition. Now, what you all are used to doing, which is okay, as long as you understand that multiplication is repeated addition, is when we have a whole number and we multiply it by a fraction, we change that whole number to a fraction by putting it over 1. Because 3 is equivalent to 3 over 1. Okay? When you multiply your numerators and you multiply your denominators. So we get 3/4. Okay? So please write this down. Okay, now, some rules, and this should be reviewed when we're dealing with integers. Okay, so when we took 3 and multiplied it by 1/4, we got a positive 3/4. So when you multiply two positives, you're going to get a positive. Alright? When you multiply two negatives, you're also going to get a positive. So if we have negative 3 times a negative 1/4, we're going to get a positive 3/4. Okay, why does this work? Well, let's look at this, okay? So negative means opposite. So we take the opposite of negative 1/4 plus negative 1/4 plus negative 1/4. Remember, multiplication is repeated addition. Okay, since we have the same denominator, remember it's opposite, that sign means opposite. Keep your denominator. Negative 1 plus a negative 1 is a negative 2. Plus a negative 1 is a negative 3. Well, what's the opposite of a negative 3? Positive 3. So that's how you get a positive when you multiply two negatives. Okay? So same sign is positive. Different sign is that's going to give me a negative. Okay? So, if I have 3 and I multiply it by negative 1/4. Okay? So what I have here is I have negative 1/4 plus negative 1/4 plus negative 1/4. Well, just like we did right here, when we just focused on this, I get a negative 3/4. So that's how you get a negative when you have different signs. Okay, so let's practice some of this. So here's number 1. Please write this down in your notes. We have 6 times 2/3. Okay? So, we put 6 over 1, and we multiply it by 2/3. So you multiply your numerator and you multiply your denominator. Now there's 2 ways you can do this, class. You can multiply straight across. 6 times 2 is 12. 1 times 3 is 3. This is called improper because the numerator is larger than the denominator. So you need to change it to a mixed number. How many times will 3 go into 12? Or what's 12 divided by 3? Okay, some people like to do something called cross-simplify. Okay? So, I know that if I divide this by 3, I get 1. And if I divide the 6 by 3, I get 2. So if I cross-simplify, I have 2 times 2 as my numerator, 1 times 1 is my denominator, and I get the same answer. Both positive, my answer is positive. Okay, let's look at another one. Okay, so I have a negative and I have a positive. So I'm going to take 6/7 and I'm going to add it 8 different times. And it's going to be the opposite because that's a negative. So my answer is going to be negative. I know that this is going to give me a negative for my answer, okay? So instead of doing that repeated addition, I think the easier way is to go ahead and take that -8 times 6 as your numerator. And remember we put that over 1, so that's 1 times 7. Now, can we cross-simplify anything? 1 will go into everything. That's relatively prime, so we don't need to do that. 7, no. So multiply straight across. -8 times 6 over 7. Okay, this is improper, so we need to simplify. How many times will 7 go into 48? 6 times. With 6 left over. Okay, and remember my answer is negative, so it's negative 6 and 6/7. Okay, what if we have a whole number times a mixed number? Actually, let's change that to 1/5. Do y'all remember how to go from a mixed number to improper? You take 5 times 3 and get 15 and add 1, so that's 16 over 5. I'm going to multiply that by -2 over 1. So I have -2 times 16 over 1 times 5. Can I simplify? No. 2 times 16, 32. Different signs. Negative. 1 times 5 is 5. This is called what? Improper fraction. We need to change it to a mixed number. How many times will 5 go into 32? 6 times, with what left over? 2/5. Okay? So it's -6, 2/5 is your final answer. But you need to understand that this improper fraction is equivalent to this mixed number. Okay, I think I'm going to stop to save on time, and you'll have to have a second part here. So I'll see you in just a minute.